I want you to come with me for a walk down the rabbit hole. And I want to let's intrigue each other here. Let's look at key points in history where we have well documented proof that fasting for thousands of years, whether it's religious, whether it's cultural, whether it's geographical, but for thousands of years it has arrested and reversed diseases, documented. Now let's flash forward to the 1800s, where a Dr. Henry Tanner, Mr. Tanner was dying. He had disease and illnesses, and he had some knowledge on fasting. At that time, it was well documented that if you went beyond 10 days without food, you would die. I'm going to call it marketing, and I'm going to explain to you why. So that marketing, Mr. Tanner disproved. How did he do that? He went 40 days, 40, without any consumption of calories, liquid diet like I do for the most part. And in that, he got rid of his diseases and illnesses. And when he did that, because he did it on his own, he was made out to be a quack. They tarnished him, they labeled him, including the Surgeon General of the United States at the time. So what did he do to defend his reputation? He goes to New York, dead town center New York at the time. He gets all cameras on him. They say that it was bigger than the presidency of the United States. That's how much attention he got from at that time media. And so he did another 40-day fast without food. He blew by that 10 days. So he basically discredited the 10-day you're going to die, and he showed that he did a 40-day fast. Now, let's flash forward to the early 1900s, 1910. You have the Abraham Flexner report, that basically out of that report to where we are today, with the allopathic medicine that went up to modern medicine to where we are today. And at that time, they were also labeling and discrediting anybody that did fasting or any type of medicine that is not what we know as today as conventional modern medicine was labeled, was tarnished, etc. Let's flash forward to the mid-1900s. There's this psychiatrist, this doctor, Yuri Nikoliev. Mr. Nikoliev out of Russia, call it a mental institute, call it an asylum. He worked in a hospital with those that had severe mental incapacitation, whether schizophrenia and so on and so forth. But Mr. Yuri, he had a very good knowledge of fasting, and he had a very good knowledge of vegetarianism. And what he did, he put all his patients, and here, this is what's interesting here. He didn't do a work with 100 patients or 1,000 patients. He worked with over 10,000 patients. And out of those 10,000 patients, he put them on a 3-week, no-calorie liquid diet for 3 weeks, basic fasting. And then from that, he put them on a regimen of fasting with vegetarianism, right? So what happened to those 10,000? Basically went back to normal. Their mental illnesses disappeared and dissipated, which is something that I've been speaking of for the last several years now. If we pay attention to what's going on in society, how all the mental illnesses that we have surrounded by, and if you look at the consumption that everybody's consuming, we're at a world today where they even market, this is like US funded, government funded marketing, or to say research, that they say that sugary cereal is healthier than eggs and meat. Here, listen to that, for example. And this is why when I went back to the 1800s, if you go beyond 10 days of not eating, you're going to die. Marketing. The 1910s, the Abraham Flexner report, when they went after those in holistic medicine and those that fasted, they called them quacks. Marketing. And to today, sugary cereals are healthier than eggs and meat. Marketing. Why? Because they don't want you to get healthy. They don't want you to be knowledgeable. And I'm going to say that because it is not taught in school. They have studies after studies, thousands of years of documented history. If you have thousands of years of documented history, why do we wipe everything clean all the time? Why do we wipe the slate clean? Just like the wokeness that destroys books and literature and statues, need I say more, right? It's the exact same thing they do with consumption. It's the exact same thing they do with science and medicine. They want you to follow one path, the yellow brick road that leads to certain individuals at all times. And this is why we are where we are today. The mental state of society, and I'm going to reiterate, it's in the consumption. And when again, the big healthy hugs, if not for you, do for your children. Educate yourself like I did. It's not school that taught me about fasting. It's not school that taught me about internal health. It's through my own knowledge, through my own observation that I did my own research. So again, hug those you love, hug yourself, start being honest with yourself, do your own research at minimum, and go down the rabbit hole. You'll be amazed what you're going to find. Big, healthy hugs.